Hi, welcome to this 7th episode of my marketing series that I hope will help you to become more successful in your business. As a business owner myself for many years, I understand the challenges that you face. The theme of this series is how to market your business most effectively. Today, I'm going to cover two topics: social media and public relations. If you're a social media expert, then you'll probably know more about this topic than I do. In fact, anyone who knows me, especially my adult media savvy children, would laugh at the idea of me presenting anything about social media. And I will confess that my use of social media for personal activities is quite limited. Frankly, there are other things I'd rather be spending my time doing outside working hours than spending even more time looking at a screen. But I would argue that this makes me even better qualified to talk about use of social media for your small business. Just because I'm not much of a personal user doesn't mean that I haven't realised the importance of social media for our business. It might even be an advantage in that I look at social media through a business return on investment lens. Every hour has a cost, whether it's my own time or members of our team, who cost the business money for every hour that they work. So whatever you do needs to bring a return. I understand that with social media, that return might take time to appear. Just like when you sow a seed, you don't instantly reap a harvest. The first thing we did is look at the many different platform options available. Different demographic audiences tend to use certain platforms more than others. We don't have the resources to keep on top of every platform, so we wanted the best return on our investment of time and money. We decided the best returns for us to reach our audience were YouTube, Facebook and LinkedIn. That's because our core demographic includes lots of business people and slightly older age categories. For all the plethora of ideas about what to post, the best time of day, the best day of the week and so on, just about every expert agrees that the top thing you can do to build your audience is consistently post interesting, relevant content over a long period of time. We're already pumping out rivers of content via our two main websites and their respective monthly e-newsletters. This YouTube channel that you're currently watching, and a new one called Influencers that we're just about to launch at the time I'm recording this. So for us, unlike many small businesses, including perhaps yours, generating content is not the problem. If you're wondering how to efficiently create good content for social media, here's a few ideas. When you make a sale, especially if you sell products through a physical store, take a photo of your customer, with their permission of course, holding or standing by their new purchase. Your customers can generate social media content for you if you give them great service and make it easy for them to leave reviews and comments. Whenever you're opening a shipment of new stock, especially if it's a new model, new colour or some other new feature, then take a quick photo holding the new item in your hand, straight out of the box as your caption. Post it with a short caption. It's good for social media to be immediate. As I mentioned, having content has not been the problem for our own business, but where we've been falling down is not consistently chopping up this content into small segments and scheduling regular posts across our social media channels. None of this repurposing work is as difficult as creating the original content, but even using automated scheduling services, the latest editing software and so on, it's still more labour intensive than social media spruikers would like to admit. You also need to be regularly pumping it out, week after month after year. So how can we solve this dilemma? At the time of recording this, we're in the process of recruiting someone offshore in the Philippines as a virtual assistant to do most of this legwork. I have no qualms about employing staff or contracting services offshore, and have been doing so for about 20 years. In fact, every episode of this video series you're watching now is edited by a gentleman in India. To me, it's a win-win. Once you have a regular flow of social media content going out, another critical step is to respond to your audience's comments and feedback. If they think there's no one listening to them, they'll be more likely to lose interest and disengage. This is another area where we have room for improvement. So far, I'm relying on other members of our team to do this work, but we're too ad hoc. Once again, it's a trade-off involving immediate real labour costs versus long-term gains that are not so quickly monetised. When I've worked out the solution to this dilemma, I'll let you know. Now let's look at our second topic, public relations. You may have heard of the terms above the line and below the line advertising. Above the line refers to all the common forms of paid advertising you can do across a wide range of media, both online and traditional. It tends to be less targeted. Below the line advertising refers to more targeted campaigns, including public relations, events, social media marketing, and so on. The media landscape has been revolutionised over the past 2 decades. There are now more journalists working in public relations than there are for media organisations. And because media organisations are so strapped for cash these days, much of their content is fed to them by the public relations agencies. Whether this is a good or bad thing is beyond the scope of our discussion today, but that's the reality. And as a small business owner, you might be surprised how cost effective it can be to use public relations for specific major events in your business. These could include a new product launch, a birthday sale, moving premises, opening in a new location, or many other possibilities. The key goal behind PR is to attract a higher value of positive media than the cost of the PR agency's fees. The PR agent usually has a strong media background and direct relationships with the right people who can get your story run. I know from first-hand experience that this can work, and I'm going to finish this episode with a story about one such example. Back when we used to publish a series of city-based cycling guidebooks, we used a public relations company to promote each book launch. In the case of our Where to Bike Chicago book, our author Greg Borzo was already a successful published author of multiple books who had good long-term relationships with a particular PR agency. Upon his advice, we hired them, and through their efforts we got a range of positive media across several platforms. Greg knew from experience that the jewel in the crown would be a favourable book review in the Chicago Tribune, which is one of the biggest newspapers and news websites throughout the USA. He forewarned us to have a second print run of the book ready to go in case our PR contractor hit this jackpot. Unfortunately, I didn't take his advice seriously enough. Sure enough, we got that favourable review, and that day, for a few brief and glorious hours, we were in the top 100 rankings of all books sold on Amazon worldwide. We lingered in the top 1,000, which is still extremely high when there were something like 3 million different titles for sale at that time. Sure enough, our book soon sold out. I ordered the reprint immediately after the review was published, but because the books were printed in China and sea freighted to the USA, by the time they landed, the momentum had been lost. The morals of this story? Good PR can work, but sometimes you have to take risks to fully capitalise on it. If you'd like to get my future videos as soon as they're posted, then please subscribe to my series. If you've benefited from this video, then please write a review and like this video on the screen below. Please contact me if you'd like a free personal business coaching session. I believe that with passion, consistent effort and wise advice, you can succeed in your business. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.